Hey everybody, I just wanted to do Nate's 4-month update. Everything's going really well with him, and I apologize for updating you guys sooner. Things have been really crazy around here, and it's just like we can't get a spare minute to do much of anything. So just to kind of go over everything that's going on with him, he still continues to amaze us every single day with the new things that he does. I think that's what's so great about a baby, is that you just kind of get used to what they're doing. And then the next day they'll do something completely different. I apologize for the way I look. We are so sick, all of us. But he's smiling. He just started giggling. Like the end of last week, he was the first time that he's been like laughing, like, you know, ha ha, but he's like giggling like a hee hee type of deal. And it's so adorable. It's so cute and so wonderful, and I just love that he can be that happy, and baby giggles are just the cutest thing ever. I don't know, like, where I left off with you guys. I was going to watch the video before the one I last updated about his update, and I just didn't have time. So, I don't know where I left off, but when he was in the NICU, they referred us to early intervention, which is a program here, which I'm sure there's probably something like it everywhere. It's basically for kids with any kind of special need, because Nate has the feeding tube. He qualifies under that. It's not based on income, which is nice, because every single time I try to get something for him, we make too much money. So, not enough money where, of course, you know, we can just afford anything, but we always make too much money to qualify him for other things. But basically they come, you have a service coordinator that come and they get some information, and they bill your insurance for it, for, you know, visits and things like that. But, like, there's no copay or anything like that, because I don't know if the county or the state or whatever picks it up, which is nice. So they referred him to a speech therapist, which is who helps with feeding issues and things like that. We have tried a couple times to use the special bottle, again, to feed him, and he doesn't really seem that interested in it, and I don't want to force it on him, because I really think that's what happened, is that he got an aversion to the nipple and didn't want to, and that's, you know, I don't want to make that worse. So we kind of held off waiting for them, and we'd heard wonderful things about this woman, this speech therapist that was coming, and she absolutely was wonderful. She obviously has a lot of experience, and I just love people that go with the flow and don't try to do it like by the book, because, I mean, I think I've made that perfectly clear for those of you guys that have watched me for a long time. I just feel like people are not generally the same. You can't put them into a cookie cutter type thing and say every baby should do this or every person should do this. And basically what she said, at this point he's 4 months old, we did start him on solids. She said there's not a huge point in getting him to take a bottle at this point. She said I would just try to go with the solids for now, because he doesn't really have a swallowing issue. He obviously swallows like his own secretions, his own spit and everything, and there's no point in pushing the bottle issue. She said, I have known kids, which I think I mentioned before, that kids with cleft palate, some kids never take a bottle. They go, to a sippy cup. So that's pretty much what we're going to do. So she was here. That was actually the first time he giggled, is when they were here. She had like, it's almost like a pen, like a little vibrating pen, and she just wanted to kind of, excuse me, stimulate his mouth and everything, get him, whatever, but he was giggling with it. It was just the cutest thing ever. I wish I'd had the camera. And then he giggled last night with Paul, but of course my batteries were dead, and I didn't have time. By the time I got everything ready, he had stopped. So, the other thing they said when he was here, because we haven't been doing a lot of tummy time with him, and that's totally my fault, but he doesn't like it. Ever since when he was first born, for like 2 months, he was on his stomach all the time. He could raise his head to like a 90-degree angle, I think probably before he was even a month old, just because he was always on his stomach because of the breathing issues. Well, now, because of the feeding tube issues, I don't force him to be on his stomach because, and I know you guys have never seen it, and he's sleeping right now, so I don't want to bug him, but I'll try to upload a video so you can see what the feeding, where the feeding tube is. And it sticks out from his stomach, like, I don't know, that far or so. And I don't know as if it, like, hurts him, but I don't think it's probably the most comfortable thing in the world. And so we really don't push tummy time with him, which is totally my fault. But so what they're going to do is refer him also to a physical therapist to come in and work with him to build up like his upper body strength and things like that he, you know, would get from tummy time, and I'm sure they'll probably really want me to do tummy time with him. So they're going to come to the house, and it's really great because they do come to the house. We don't have to take him anywhere because he has so many appointments with everybody else that to not have to take him out is just absolutely wonderful. He weighs 14 pounds and 4 ounces at this point. And like I said, we are starting to do solid foods. At this point, it's not, which I'm sure all of you know, it's not like a nutritional thing. They don't get a lot from solids at this point just because he's just basically, we're trying to put it in his mouth. She gave us a special spoon. I mean, it looks like a regular spoon. It's just, the edges are a little flatter. It's not as rounded because, what we basically do is, because we want him to pull his tongue forward because his tongue is so far back. So he pulls his, you know, we put it in his tongue, pulls his tongue forward, and kind of, you know, put the food on it. We've at this point given him sweet potatoes, which I know a lot of people start with rice or whatever, but that's what we started with. And he doesn't seem to mind it, and he was swallowing it. And when we fed him shortly thereafter and hooked up the extension tube to his feeding tube, there was sweet potatoes in his stomach. So he obviously is getting some and didn't seem to mind it. I was really surprised that he didn't mind the taste of it. He didn't, because obviously, you know, this is a kid, as most kids are. They've never had anything but like breast milk or formula, and he didn't mind the taste at all, which was, you know, kind of nice. Let's see what else. Because he has a lot of time on his back, other than, you know, when we have him sitting up or whatever, we put him in, I'll show you, on this thing right here, which he absolutely loves. And when he's on that, he will roll to his side, or when he's in his crib, he'll roll to his side from his back. So he definitely is getting strength in, you know, certain areas and doing other things that he should be doing. He's still sleeping through the night. He's just so good. I can't tell you guys how good he is. I mean, we've dealt with a lot of stuff with him, obviously, for the obvious things. But he's such a good baby. A lot of times, we went through a stint where it was like a week or so, and he had a really hard time going down to sleep. I kind of fought with him a little bit to get him to fall asleep at night. But ever since, that's like the only time, the entire time he's been home for like 2 months now. And it was just that week or so. Other than that, he's asleep a lot of times before we even get him up to the room. We start, depending on how the day has gone, which has been crazy lately, his nighttime feedings start at either like 10, 10:30, 10:45, somewhere in there. And a lot of times, like I said, he's asleep before we even get him up there. So, and if he is awake, we can lay him in the crib, and he'll go to sleep by himself. We don't have to fight with him at all to go to sleep, which is so nice. And he sleeps the entire night. He sometimes will fuss a little bit, and we don't usually even have to go in there. We do go in twice a night because I get up to pump, so we go in and change his diaper and everything in the night, so he doesn't ever have to be in a wet diaper or poopy diaper. Spitting up, he still spits up, and from what our doctor told us is he will basically spit up, because what happens normally at 4 months is a baby's stomach is normally straight down, and at 4 months the stomach will start to swing over to be like a normal adult stomach, which will help them to stop spitting up as much because it doesn't have a direct path back up. Because Nate has the feeding tube adheres the stomach right where it is to the abdominal wall with the tube, so his stomach can't do that. So he still spits up a little bit. I don't think it's nearly as much as it was. It is probably once every feeding, maybe not even. But, you know, we've learned to kind of deal with it a little bit, and he's obviously gaining weight without a problem, so it's not like it's, you know, affecting him at all. That's pretty much it for 4 months. Like I said, he's doing really well. He is sick, though. We've all had colds, and so he seems to have a cold in his eye where he's getting gunk coming out of his eye, which is the poor little guy. I swear he can't catch a break. But we're taking him to the doctor's set tomorrow. We couldn't get him in today. Again, a whole long story. Nothing ever seems to be easy. But he's doing really well, and I want to thank everybody for all their thoughts and prayers, and everybody who writes in and says they wonder about him. it's really great the support that we've gotten with everything. So I want to thank you all, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.